Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Sally Hart-Peterson. I'm chair of the Ann Arbor Commission on Disability Issues. Welcome to our September 26th meeting. We'll start with roll call, starting to my left. Could you introduce yourself?
Me, Timothy Hull, Commissioner.
Matthew Solomon, Commissioner.
Rachel Hawkins, Commissioner.
Kathleen Mozak-Batts, Commissioner.
Debbie Poster, Commissioner.
Larry Keeler, Commissioner.
Zach Damon, Commissioner and Vice Chairman.
And I'm Heather Cook from the Human Resources Office.
Thank you. I want to express and extend a very special welcome to Debbie, this is her first meeting. She's been newly appointed by City Council to be a commissioner. Also newly appointed is Kristen Harrison, who is actually not available to be here this afternoon, but we expect her at the next month meeting. So welcome to you both. Next on the agenda is approval of the agenda. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
I'll move to approve.
Larry moves to approve. Is there a second? Rachel seconds. Any questions on the agenda?
I have one question, if I may.
Sure.
With the Ann Arbor Inclusive Update, this will be my final one, of course.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay.
I expected that, so I thought
Okay.
we would transition it today. So
No
that
problem.
would be part of the content. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Anything else? Kathleen?
With Allison being in absence, she asked me to give the report.
Wonderful. Thank you, Kathleen.
There's a mistake on the ones that I created, the Legistar version.
Oh, okay.
It says approval of agenda twice. So
Oh, okay.
number section 3 will be changed to minutes.
Okay. Got it. All those in favor of the agenda as amendment, say aye.
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 Anyone opposed? No one opposed. We are approved for the agenda. Next is approval of the June 20th meeting minutes.
Oh, good God, that was way back.
Has everyone had a chance to review them? Any questions, comments, edits?
Were the June 20th minutes the ones that Carl Larkins came in for public comment?
No, that was
Oh, that was before.
beforehand. Do you have an update? I know the city followed up and we were able to make improvements for that
I
situation.
have, the city has, I don't know how much they have followed up from him, but I do have heard that.
Okay.
Since then, Carl Larkins has passed, so I haven't
Oh, no. Okay.
passed in July.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Any questions on the minutes? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
They are approved. Presentations. First, we have Katie Munkowitz from the Washtenaw Library for the Blind and Physically Disabled. Welcome, Katie.
Hello, hi, thanks for having me. Good to see you all after our break. I have some good news. I have our October events brochure, but the bad news is I just got it a half hour ago, so I won't be highlighting any events from October, but I'm gonna pass those out to you right now, along with the September ones, because we do still have a few events left into September.
Great. Here, why don't you give them to me and I can hand them?
Sure.
Yeah.
They're
Go ahead.
collated.
Okay. Oh, wonderful.
All right, so a couple of events left in September to highlight. The first one is one that is an ongoing series that we're doing. It's called Creative Break, and every Friday at noon, we are meeting in the downtown secret lab on our very lower level, and there is a different theme each Friday. This upcoming Friday, we'll be doing watercolor weavings. And basically what happens in each one is there's a theme, and then there is somebody to guide you along and maybe show some techniques at the very beginning of the hour, and then you're sort of set free to enjoy your creative process and do what you'd like to do. So everybody comes out with a different product with the same medium. So those have been going really well. We've been really pleased with how those turnouts have been and the results. And you can bring your lunch. It's intended to just be a break from your work day or school day where you can calm the mind and get creative. So we definitely invite you all out for one or several of those. Another thing that we have coming up on Friday, September 28th at 7 o'clock in the downtown library multipurpose room is a concert. Louis Picasso and Higher Minds are coming to the library. Louis Picasso is an Ypsilanti-based MC and producer. He's going to be presenting this concert with his hip-hop collective Higher Minds. It's a multifaceted network of musicians, producers, and unique artists. They've been together since 2013. They're based out of Ypsilanti, and their work can be found on the Bandcamp website, and that website is linked to on our website under this event. So if you're into hip hop, I highly recommend that. I was listening to some of it earlier today and I thought it was great. The third event I'd like to tell you about is Sunday, September 30th at 1 p.m. at the downtown library in our secret lab. And we're going to be talking about preserving the harvest. As gardening season comes to an end, many of us would like to preserve our garden's bounty, but may not be exactly sure how. We're going to have local food blogger Cynthia Hodges out to offer tips and tricks on how to take care of that, and she'll be doing some live demos. So I think that sounds pretty great. I have a couple of books to talk about. This is one that I just happened to notice on the shelf, although it is relatively new. It is from 2018. It's called In Sickness and in Health: Love, Disability, and a Quest to Understand the Perils and Pleasures of Interabled Romance. And this is a story of how a man born with spinal muscular atrophy survived childhood, graduated from Harvard, married an able-bodied woman, built a family with 2 daughters, a cat, and a turtle, established a successful career in journalism, and lived happily ever after. And so what he does is he's having conversations with more than a dozen other couples of varying abilities, ethnic backgrounds, and orientations. He's setting out to understand whether these pairings are as unusual as onlookers seem to think, or if they could be the building blocks of an enviable level of intimacy and communication that other couples could only dream of. So I haven't read that yet, but I think it sounds super interesting. I'm looking forward to it. The other book that I brought today is a little bit of a departure for me. This is Exit West by Mohsin Hamid. I think I'm pronouncing that right, but not 100%. This book is in our finalists for Washtenaw Reads this year. So that's why I was attracted to it. Let me tell you a little bit about it. So it's fiction. And in a country teetering on the brink of civil war, 2 young people meet and they fall in love. And when their city explodes, turning familiar streets into a patchwork of checkpoints and bomb blasts, they begin to hear whispers about doors that can whisk people far away. Eventually, they leave their homeland and their old lives behind. They find a door and step through. So I'm not usually a fantasy or sci-fi reader. So it's not normally something that I would pick up, but I read it because it was a finalist for Washtenaw Reads, and I thought it was great. So something to take a look at even if you're not usually into that kind of thing. And then finally, I want to remind everybody that if you want to learn more about the Washtenaw Library for the Blind and Physically Disabled at the Ann Arbor District Library, you can go to our website, wlbpd.aadl.org. Email us at wlbpd@aadl.org, or give us a call at 734-327-4224. Thanks, everybody.
Any questions?
Yeah.
So my question is, if someone is new to Mobile Bard,
Sure.
is that something that the library would assist with tutorially?
Absolutely. Just give us a call. I'm happy to make an appointment. Yep.
Anyone
Anyone
else?
else?
Zach?
Yeah, just a quick question.
Sure.
Number 1, could you repeat the name of the first book that you were describing?
Yes.
And then number 2, has the library ever thought of bringing that author to the library to do a presentation or a talk back?
So the book is titled In Sickness and in Health, Love, Disability, and a Quest to Understand the Perils and Pleasures of Interabled Romance. The author is Ben Matlin. I am not sure if we've been in contact with him. I actually just discovered this book this week. So it's definitely something to consider, especially when we are thinking about getting our speakers for our next Visions conference. So yeah, definitely a very good suggestion. Yeah.
Do you know what the other books are for Washtenaw Reads?
Yeah, there's one other one, and I always get, it's Reading with David, I think is the name. If it's not, it's a different man's name. The reason I'm not highlighting that today is it's not available on Bard yet. So they're working on getting that ready for our blind patrons, but it's just not quite there. So once it is, I will tell you all about it. Yeah.
Okay.
Anybody else?
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Next, we have Sophie Skocialak, who is the NFTIL specialist with the Ann Arbor Center for Independent Living. Thank you.
It's a handful. Yep, hi guys, hi again. So the first announcement I wanted to make is that the Ann Arbor Center for Independent Living will be closed on October 2nd for a staff in-service day. We all get to team bond for a day. And the first event I'll be talking about is one that I've talked about before. It's Girl Talk, the fall edition. And this fall they'll be again talking about, participants will focus on disabilities portrayed through film and literature. We will watch a variety of TV shows and read Helen Keller's autobiography entitled Story of My Life, and then engage in group discussion. And this is for ages 14 to 26. And the next day that they have Girl Talk is on September 28th from 5:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. And it's every Friday until November 2nd from 5:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. And if you're interested, you can contact Anna Deuce-Bieber, and she's our Youth Services Manager, and her email is anna@aacil.org. In addition to a lot of events that Anna's holding this month, her youth council is doing a game day. The Ann Arbor Center for Independent Living Fantastic Youth Council invites youth ages 14 to 26 to game day to do board and card multiplayer games. Winner elimination rounds and snacks and drinks are provided, and this will be Thursday, actually tomorrow, September 27th, 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. They're also going to be doing a photo workshop. This will be I'm skipping ahead of myself. The Ann Arbor Center for Independent Living Fantastic Youth Council invites youth 14 to 26 for a 2-day photo workshop. Day 1 will be Thursday, October 18th from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. And this will be at the Center for Independent Living. And the presentation, the first day will be presentation of Photo Voice, and you'll learn about different ways to take photos with your phone and other photography devices. Day 2 will be October 20th from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Lily Park. And that address is 4365 Platt Road, Ann Arbor, Michigan, 48108. And you'll practice the photo voice lesson at Lily Park by taking pictures of items, the environment, and each other. Also, there will be a picnic social time, so bring a lunch so that you can socialize. And again, if you want any information on these events, you can email anna@aacil.org. Lastly, the youth leaders are looking for ongoing volunteer opportunities and for youth leaders to join the youth council. And if you feel that you would find this to be a fun thing, again, just contact Anna, obviously our youth services manager. The next thing I wanted to talk about is our support groups and open gym hours, the things we hold, each month. There's again free open gym hours. This is Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. and orientation's required. If you want some more information, just email info@aacil.org or call 734-971-0277, extension 33. Next, there's the Hearing Loss Association Support Group. They meet monthly on the second Monday from 6:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. And if you would like to go to that support group, you can contact Pam McGinty at pamc86@gmail.com. The Multiple Sclerosis Support Group meets every Monday from 7 to 8:30 p.m. You should call before attending, and you can contact Jody Burton Slowins at 734-663-0785. Next is the General Support Group. They meet every Wednesday from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. If you would like to join, you can email Jason Jones, which is jjones5 Perard, P-E-R-A-D, at iCloud.com. Diversibility Theater meets every Wednesday from 5 p.m. to, I folded my paper.
7.
Yeah, 7 p.m. Do you attend?
I have, yes.
Oh, good. And if you want to go, you can contact Chris Beatty at Beatty, M-O-H-N, at yahoo.com. And there's Drop-In Art, Monday, Thursday, and Friday. They meet every week, Monday and Friday from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m., and Thursdays from 12:30 p.m. to 2:30 p.m. And you can email art@aacil for more information. Usually you want to kind of check our website to see if it's going to be closed that day, because sometimes our volunteer can't hold it that day, just in warning. Next, this is a new event. There's a Thursday evening group for parents of children and children with ASD, Autism Spectrum Disorder. Join other parents and caregivers to share what it's like to raise a child with a diagnosis of ASD with those who can relate to validate and affirm your experiences. Group members will learn mindfulness techniques and support one another in working towards stress reduction and improved coping from week to week. This is on Thursdays from 6:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. for 8 weeks, September 27th to November 15, 2018. This will be at Open Minds Ann Arbor LLC, which is 2890 Carpenter Road. STE, I don't remember what that stands for. Sweet. Sweet. 1500 Ann Arbor, Michigan, 48108. And you can also contact Michelle Avery Ferguson. Her email is email at michelleaveryferguson.com. A few things that are happening in the community that I always like to point out is that Habitat for Humanity is doing financial coaching still. If you're a resident of Washtenaw, you can join it. Registration is required. You can contact the financial coach at lfair@h4h.org. The Deaf and Hard of Hearing community is doing a DTE home energy consultation. DTE Energy and Alliance for Deaf Services is collaborating to provide the home energy consultation program to the deaf community by utilizing ASL video remote interpretation and speak to text. Call 313-202-4433 or schedule online at dteenergy.com/HEC. Be sure to mention you need video remote interpretation or talk-to-text technology. I thought that was kind of cool. They taught us about it in a training recently. And last but not least, there's a healthy food distribution every third Wednesday of every month, 2 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. at 555 Towner Street, Ypsilanti, Michigan. If you want to get more information on us, you can look at our website, www.annarborcil.org, email us at info@aacil.org, or call us at 734-971-0277. And I am done.
Thank you. Questions for Sophie? Zach?
Well, Sophie, good to see you again. Thank you,
to see you too.
for all that wonderful information. Just to clarify on the Youth Advisory Council, that is a great thing to get involved in if you are a high school student. I was involved with that in high school, and it was wonderful, and served on there with Anna, so it was great.
Yeah, and Anna's doing a great job heading that right now. Anybody else?
Thank you. Next, we have public comments, and we invite anyone from the public to come to the podium and address the commission, but I don't see anyone out there. So we will move on to old business, starting with the city personnel report. Heather?
I just have one update. Our assistant city administrator was hired. I don't know exactly when his start date was, but I think he's been here a couple weeks now. He's very nice, and we're all looking forward to working with him. He's got a lot of
John
good.
Fournier.
Yep, he's
I
got a lot
just
of
met
good
him,
ideas, and he's, yeah,
Great.
hopefully he'll work out great. So.
Thanks for the update. I'm actually going to start the chair report by actually going back and reopening the agenda approval of June 20th meeting minutes because I noticed an error. So I think I need to, according to Robert's Rules of Order, I need to ask for permission to reopen the agenda. So I'd like to move to reopen the agenda. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Larry will second. All those in favor of reopening the agenda?
Aye.
Okay, thank you, approved. Okay, I noticed in the June 20 meeting minutes that Larry Keeler is not recorded as being present.
He was present.
I'm sorry?
Neither are you, and I've been talking.
Oh, neither am I, okay.
What were we doing,
I guess,
Sally?
I don't know, we're both listed in
Must not have
the
been
reports,
memorable,
but,
Yeah, I've been emailing back and forth with them. They're not sure what happened to Legistar, so.
okay.
He just took us off.
The spelling error I pointed out to you as well.
Yeah. That's what made me go back and look, so.
They're fixing it right now.
Okay, so that's gonna be updated in
It should be
Legistar.
updated,
Oh,
sorry.
neither am
We
I.
were
I didn't-
here.
Okay, so all those in favor of approving the minutes with the addition of Larry Keeler and Sally Peterson as being present, not otherwise listed there, but soon to be corrected, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? No one, thank you. Okay,
We were.
thank you for letting me do that. I've got a number of things to update. Again, want to welcome two new members, Debra Poster and Kristen Harrison. Kristen, as I mentioned, is speaking, has a speaking engagement this afternoon and couldn't be here. This is sort of an off-schedule, typical, we're fourth Wednesday this month. Typically, we're third Wednesday every month, but we changed it because of Yom Kippur last week. So we should expect to see her in future meetings. I want to thank Rachel Hawkins for taking on the role of chair of the Community Engagement Committee. And we look forward to great things to come from them. And we'll let you say a little bit more when we get to that in the next item. Sorry, I don't want to shut you off yet, but I just want to stay with the agenda. Next, Allison, who actually went home early from work today, sick, she needs some help on the PIA committee. She's either looking for a new chair or a co-chair. Her job has been such that it demands ultimate flexibility from her. So there have been times where she has had to cancel meetings at the last minute because she hasn't been able to be there. There are people in the community who have come forward and said, you know, can you let us know? And we can't always manage that as well as we'd like to. So she is suggesting a couple of things, that perhaps the committee meet 4 times a year instead of 8 to 10 times a year, which it typically does. Or is there someone else who can come forward?
Excuse me.
And so, I mean, we can discuss that now if you like, if there's a volunteer or someone who wants to come forward. Or, yes, Larry.
I will say also that that committee could probably use new members too.
Okay. Well, we have new members coming on our commission, and I do recommend that everybody belong to at least one committee. The others are community engagement and recruiting. And I think it would be, you know, really good if everyone thought about it. We've got some time. We've got some new members who are just sort of orienting themselves. So we don't need a response today, but I just want to keep that in mind, that we have some needs for leadership, additional leadership. I also want to mention that we have a new host for Ann Arbor Inclusive, and I know Zach's going to take us through this summer and update us what happened over the summer. I'll just say going forward, Tom Hotland will be the new host. I think he's recorded 2 shows. The first show he recorded was with Dick Carlisle in Best Buddies, and I just wanted to do a little announcement about Best Buddies. Their Friendship Walk is this weekend on Saturday at St. Joe's Hospital. Actually, they're organizing at the farm at St. Joe's. The address is 5557 Macaulay Drive. Check-in is between 8 a.m. and 9:15. Opening ceremonies at 9:15. The walk begins at 9:45. I'm not sure how long the walk is. I think it's the circumference of the St. Joe's campus, which might be 2 miles. And then there's celebration until 1 p.m. As you know, Best Buddies is very similar to Special Olympics, but a little different in that it pairs for longer-term friendships adults with developmental and intellectual disabilities with area college students and other people in the community who can provide more permanent friendships beyond just a single Special Olympics kind of a day. They also focus on enabling job opportunities for adults with developmental and intellectual disabilities, as well as leadership opportunities. So it's a great organization. We've had the chapter from U of M here presenting, and they've been on Ann Arbor Inclusive before. Zach, I remember you interviewed them once. The chapter here in Ann Arbor the U of M chapter has recently been awarded one of the Chapter of the Year awards from the national organization. So they've done outstanding work. I think there are 8 or 10 chapters in the state of Michigan. There's not an office in the state of Michigan, and the Best Buddies Walk and other activities that are going on are focused on being able to actually open an office in Ann Arbor. So that's something I've gotten a little kind of close to on a personal note. I think a lot of you know I have a sister who has developmental disabilities. I actually was able to spend quite some time with her this summer, and I know that the importance of adult friendships is so important to them. So, and it helps them just very enriching experience. So that's Best Buddies. Upcoming meetings. We have 3 meetings left in this calendar year: October, November, December. The October meeting is on the 17th, which is the 3rd Wednesday. The November meeting, the 3rd Wednesday, happens to come just the night before the 4th Thursday, which is Thanksgiving. So my question is, rather than meeting on November 21st, when people may be going out of town or having people come into town, do we want to move that meeting to the 2nd Wednesday, November 14th? Or have we already done that? Because we might have discussed this before.
I don't remember discussing it, but.
I know we've done it in prior years. If it's conflicted, or maybe we did like a Christmas Eve thing that we moved.
I feel like we worked really hard on this. To not schedule anything, I think. Yep, it's on the 14th.
It is on the
Oh,
14th.
good.
Yeah,
So,
I was
okay.
gonna say, I remember.
I thought we
something.
had discussed this before,
And
so,
there's a Partners and Access Committee scheduled for that day as well.
okay. And then Wednesday, December 19th, will be our December meeting. Getting back to the 17th again, I actually have a meeting with the city administrator that begins at 4 and goes to 5 on that day. That involves a lot of other people, and we can't actually move that. Are people okay with starting at 5 on that day? Does that pose a conflict for CTN or any of our colleagues who are?
What day is that?
That would be Wednesday, October 17th, starting at 5 p.m. instead of 4 p.m.
The issue is Transportation Commission is at 7 that day. I don't know if,
We will be done well before 7, I think. And if we look like we're running late, Tim, we'll move your update sooner in the agenda, so you will not be late for that meeting.
well, that meeting is normally here, so you're not. you're
Well,
gonna
we
have to
won't,
leave.
yeah, so we will, that works too?
So we need to vote on that if we want to?
I guess voting on it
October 17th at 5 o'clock.
rather than 4 o'clock.
No, is that October 17th?
Yes.
Yeah.
Same date. We're not changing the date, just the start time.
Oh, no, because I was confused because we were talking about the Thanksgiving meeting too. So.
Sorry, I was going through all 3 meetings, and I kind of jumped back to the first one again. So
October, November, and then, what was the other one?
December 19th. So October 17th would start at 5 PM. Heather, are you checking just? Okay. Although, so I would like to move to recommend that we start the October 17th meeting at 5 PM instead of 4 PM. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Larry seconds?
It'll be dark when we leave.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, thank you very much. Now I'm going to skip ahead to the December meeting again and remind everyone that is my last meeting as your chair, as I am term limited, and I will have finished 4 years as chair. And so we will need a new chair, and so to prepare for that, we probably need an ad hoc nominating committee that is willing, and that might be 1 or 2 people who are willing to put forth a list of candidates for new chair and or vice chair. I don't know, you came vice chair, you're not term limited as vice chair, but to the extent that you want to be considered for chair, Zach, you know.
You could be vice chair, though, if he wants to give it up.
I'm sorry?
I said, I think you could be vice chair if he wants to give it up, though.
I could be vice chair, I guess, yes.
Well, this is the first that I've heard of this, Sally. So, first of all, that's sort of bittersweet to hear, but yeah, I'm sure.
I'm not leaving the commission per se. It's just I have to give up my role as chair.
Okay. Well, yeah, I mean, we can definitely, discuss that further.
Okay. But is there someone that wants to take on take on the role of a nominating and placement committee lead?
I mean, go ahead, Kathleen.
I will take on.
Okay, thank you.
I'll work
This
with
is
you,
a very
Kathleen. I'll work with you,
short-term.
Kathleen, because we've done it before.
And-
I was hesitant because my computer's not sending out things yet.
Larry and Kathleen, that would be really great if you could work on putting together a slate of candidates and or candidate. It doesn't have to be a lot of people. Like, you could just meet with people who are interested and then put forth the names that you would like. It's a very short-term commitment, and hopefully not time-consuming. So, thank you.
May I ask a question?
Sure.
So the term for the new person coming on board, is that a 2-year term?
It's 2 two-year terms. Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, any other questions about that? Zach?
Yeah, and then Larry and Kathleen, definitely just keep me informed. I'd like to be involved with that process as well.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you, man.
Any other questions? With no further, oh, yes.
I actually, is this an appropriate time to ask about and to thank Kirk Westfall and to find out who is replacing him?
Yes, you may.
So.
Yes, we all may,
I
yes.
just wanted to say,
Yeah.
I read the email and that Kirk has some family commitments
Right.
and with the election, he will no longer be our liaison to city council.
That's true.
And I want to say thank you for all the work that he did with us, and I'm sorry that it's not working out for him to stay with us, and that I'm wondering if council, when they will make the announcement to have a liaison.
So, yes, I'd like to reiterate thanks to Kirk Westfall for being our council liaison for the last several years. It's been great to have him on board. He is coming off of council in November, and typically council makes their assignments for committee liaisons in December. And so the new council is coming on board in November, the second meeting of November. That'll be their first meeting. They have a budget retreat, not a budget retreat, sorry. They have a retreat in December, and the council administration committee will make appointments for council members that would serve as liaisons to commissions. So we will find out probably in January who our new council liaison would be.
So
Matthew,
my
do you have a
question is there any way that we could try and get some sense that the council member is interested in disability issues rather than simply having somebody assigned based on another roster of committee assignments? It seems
it's
quite
up-
crucial.
You know, I don't know how council admin makes their decisions. Typically, they would include what that council member's interests are, but it's not something, I mean, we could simply request to the chair of council administration. I'm not sure which city council member is the chair, that if there is someone available on the city council who has experience with people in the disability community or have had a family member or know a caregiver or someone that has relevant experience, that they would be a good add.
Just in reviewing the respective platforms of some of the candidates in the last election, it was not always clear that certain candidates really had an interest in this issue.
Yeah,
So I think it would be quite important to try and pinpoint a council member who has an interest or some conversational ability with the spectrum. I think that would strengthen our relationship with the city council and allow us to be more effective.
Sounds good. I can put in the request on the council's behalf if you like. Larry?
Now,
Commission's
the question is also, can the liaison advocate our policy, or are they able to advocate our policy, or do they just have to report what we?
No, and
They
Kirk
just have
has
to
done
report
this.
what we do.
Nope, if we have a resolution that we want to go before city council, and we did this with the closed captioning ordinance, Kirk was the sponsor.
Okay, so he can so he could
He
sponsor and
can,
advocate.
absolutely.
Oh, good. Then
They have, not only can they have in the past.
then Matt's comment carries more weight.
Okay.
It's fair to say that some council members have a more laissez-faire attitude toward the committee assignments, and
Agreed.
others take a more activist role. And I think the more we can do to find a council member who is actively engaged with the community rather than simply checking a box.
By the way, we were
committee
very lucky to
assignments.
get Sally and Kirk. So.
Pardon?
Thank
We
you.
were very lucky to get Sally and Kirk, who had,
I was the council liaison
Yeah.
before Kirk.
we just
So,
kept her.
that's what he's referring to, but,
I'm sure Sally did a marvelous job.
She did.
in that.
That's why we kept her.
But the unique piece about that is I was already a commissioner when I started city council. So it's a long story, but I was a commission member and then became the council liaison after I was on city council. And then became chair when I was off of city council, so.
Well, we'll see what we can do to
There's
get you
a
elected again.
history here, so, yes. I hear everyone's input, and I thank you for that. Now, Rachel, welcome as Chair of Community Engagement Committee. I welcome you to say a few words. Thank you for being so patient.
Oh, of course. Thank you, Sally. So my name is Rachel Hawkins. I'm one of the commissioners, and we are making a transition. One of our commissioners had been running the Community Engagement Committee, and they did not renew their term. So we're in the beginning stages of figuring out when our next meetings will be held and what are the goals that we want to work towards.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions for Rachel? Ann Arbor Inclusive, Zach, catch us up.
Well, thank you, everyone. Pleasure to see everyone after our break. And yeah, Ann Arbor Inclusive, as you mentioned earlier, pretty much taking the words out of Sally's mouth here. But Tom Holan was elected the new host. I was very, very excited with that selection and thought the right choice was made. And then he came in, and as you said, he's taped a couple of episodes. I just watched the final cut on the first episode that just got released, and he did a fabulous job. and very excited for him and very excited for all of those involved within Arbor Inclusive moving forward. I think it's going to continue to be a great representation of the commission on the community television network. So congratulations to him and everyone involved with the project.
And thank you to you for your leadership in getting it going so many years ago.
Thank you very much.
Yes, Kathleen.
So my question is one of the things that we enjoyed when Zach was doing at Arbor Inclusive is we would get lovely update emails about the shows coming up and to watch. Is there any way to continue that with a new host? And is the new host interested in being a commissioner?
Yes and yes.
Ah.
So, yeah, we have discussed that. Sorry.
His name is?
Tom Hoatland. So, yes, we did discuss when we were interviewing him the preference that if he were selected as host, that he would also become a member of the commission. I did not ask him specifically about the email updates, but we can do that for sure. That was something that was very eager.
Yeah, I had sort of, taken that upon myself to update and then send, of course, updates to all of you. But of course, I'm sure, Linda Evans, the other person working on the show, as well as Tom, if we can mention that to them, that would benefit, I'm sure that they can move that forward.
Thank you.
Great suggestion. Yes, Heather.
Can I just check if it's Tom Hoatland?
Hoatlin?
Okay.
Yes. Yes. Any other questions about Ann Arbor Inclusive? Kathleen, will you update us on Partners in Access on behalf of Allison? Thank you.
So there isn't really much to report. We really don't have any current activity, although over the summer, I'm going to add this in, sorry, Allison. We had been working on the Briarwood issue with the sidewalks, and I pleasantly happened upon the sidewalks, actually, the curb cuts, the two that we had indicated that were necessary, have been completed, and I so want to thank Sally for all of her hard work on that, and also to thank Briarwood for taking the initiative and making it happen so quickly. What a lovely, lovely surprise. And then lastly, we did have some questions for you, Sally, but I think that Allison is going to email you, and we'll go from there.
Okay. One thing I do want to keep on the radar screen, some work that started last year that I think was going to become a pilot this year, is the snow buddy work. I'm hoping that now that there's been a proposal brought forward, that that is something that we can get back on the agenda before the first flakes of snow fall. And for our viewing audience, Snow Buddies is going to be partnering with the city to pilot the clearing of sidewalks and curb cuts for people who are responsible for them who don't have the physical capability to do so themselves. So for either the elderly or those who have disabled who want to stay in their homes and enjoy their homes, but either cannot afford or are not physically able to clear their sidewalks or the curb cuts in their house, nobody will come and do it for free. Awesome. We just need to, so this is a program that's going to be piloted this winter. Yes, Larry?
My question is, you earlier on in the meeting, we were speaking of the, what is that place down there, the court down there where,
Senior on the corner of Huron and Fourth?
And Fourth, yeah.
Yes.
What is the name of that? Something
Sloan
Court.
Plaza. No,
Yeah.
it's not Sloan Plaza. It's the senior housing.
Yeah,
That
something
is-
court. But anyway, where do we get some updates on that? Because I brought that to PIA, and then I heard that some things were happening there, and
I
that
think
was
we've
improving.
I thought that was a resolved issue with the drop-off there.
Who do I check?
I would check our meeting minutes, because I think I updated.
Yeah, I thought I saw that, but I didn't know if, what I want to check on is, I'll check the June meeting minutes, but I want to check to see if that was actually updated and actually enforced.
I think I have an email that I reported from at either the May or June meeting. And then I'll look for the email and send you the email.
Okay, I will too, because I saved it, but
Okay,
thank you.
that would be the best thing. Okay. I've lost track of where we are. Partners in Access, any other questions for Kathleen? Recruiting activity, Larry.
Yeah, that was me. I was hoping you'd just lose track. No, we actually do work during the summer, and we do have 2 new commissioners, which was mentioned earlier. Debra Poster right here next to me on my left, and Kristen Harrison. Oh, she's Harrison. Okay, and we have 3 outstanding applications, but we only have, from what I understand, we only have 1 vacancy. So hey, we're growing. We're getting good. We're getting a lot of new membership. But even if we do get full, keep submitting your applications in, because there may be an unexpected spot open for some reason, and yeah, we can fill it with you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Transportation Commission.
Yeah,
Tim.
just actually was quite a few things have come up, but I know one thing, this isn't necessarily the commission directly, but it's news that came up, is that the Michigan Flyer did move their stop at McNamara Terminal, and now it's at the International Arrivals area. And there isn't 2 separate stops, at least for that terminal. I haven't heard, no one's ever said anything about North Terminal, but I don't see 2 separate stops on that schedule anymore. I don't know if they do them, but yeah, so they were talking about doing, like, there's several presentations, like they've been having a task force on traffic calming and about, like, the policies for how to request traffic calming, because people have their neighborhoods where the speed limit might be higher than it perhaps should be, and there's people cutting through to use it as a shortcut for clogged, like, roads, major roads. And yeah, I know they've made some recommendations. They're up on their agenda, and they also passed some resolutions about, like, Vision Zero and city input or citizen input for, like, speed change, like changes on roads, and with respect to, like, speed and lanes. And also one thing that came up is the bird scooters that appeared around town, and how the approach they've taken there, and how they've like ended up confiscating some of them, in part because they were, like, blocking the sidewalks. And yeah, I think that's still ongoing, because I know there was a state law that was recently went into effect that had an impact on what is legal there, and how the city could actually end up regulating them in the future. And yeah, did I mention yeah, they had discussions about First and Ashley making them 2-way traffic, and that was one thing, like, there was some presentations involving that, and involving some new protected bike lanes. And, yeah, I saw also there was some mention that Research Park Drive, that I think they've decided they perhaps need a traffic light there, but there's still discussions with AAATA going on about that. I know you're gonna be on the board there, so, but I'd say that's it for the main transportation. I mean, there's lots of stuff, because we had like 3 or 4 months worth of meetings between this.
In between this and that, yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, we had our previous meeting. It's not tonight, so that was 2 weeks ago. And yeah, our next meeting will be the same day as the next meeting of this.
Right.
Right immediately, almost immediately after.
That's right. Great, thank you. Any questions for Tim?
Oh yeah, and the RTA is dead, and in case anyone wondered about that, but it's dead for now. I mean, something could happen regarding whatever, 2 or 4 counties. It would happen after the election, though.
Okay.
And it may not get voted on until 2020 unless the legislature wanted to change the law, essentially.
Okay. Thank you.
But the AAATA millage did pass.
It did pass,
because that was one other thing that happened.
That was a good thing.
Yeah, that was a good thing. Any questions for Tim? U of M Council for Disability Concerns meetings updates. Kathleen.
I'm going to try to keep it as short and sweet. I'm not going to concentrate on what happened over the summer because basically what happened over the summer has resolved itself, you know what I mean?
Okay.
So moving forward, there is a flyer. If you did not get a copy, there is one on the wall here. October is Michigan Investing in Ability Month. Disability is diversity. And this year's Investing in Ability events explore how disability is an important dimension of diversity. There are 14 events being held this October from the 4th through the 30th. The first one, the kickoff, is the Michigan Medicine Inclusion and Growth for Healthcare Transformation, or MIGHT as they're calling it. There are a series of TEDx-style talks that are taking place. It's a disability awareness symposium at the Frankel Cardiovascular Center in the Danto Auditorium from 2:30 to 5:30. And it is my, I should say that all events that are being discussed here are free. Locations are accessible and everyone is welcome. If you need disability accommodations to attend or to participate, please contact disability@umich.edu at least 48 hours in advance. The Investing in Disability is sponsored by the U of M Council for Disability Concerns, University Human Resources, Michigan Medicine, and University Health Service. The next item I'm not going to tell you about all of them, but some of these are just so important. Chronic fatigue and related syndrome is just a subject that's near and dear to my heart. That is on October 5th from 11 a.m. until 12:30. There will be an expert panel discussion. Again, that will be at the Frankel Cardiovascular Center, the Danto Auditorium. They're doing an exciting thing on October 10th called Dance the Freaky Music Baby. It's an LGBTQ identities and intersectionality. Intersectionality is just a huge buzzword these days about how it's so important to address that disability crosses gender, it crosses race, it crosses every economic. It doesn't just appear in one little section. It's everywhere, and so intersectionality is really important. That talk will take place from 11 a.m. till 12:30 at the Hatcher Graduate Library Gallery. Another fun thing is on October 12th, everyone looks forward to Dogs on the Diag. And that is where I believe it may be Paws with a Cause, but I'm not sure, that comes in to the Diag on Central Campus from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. and also at Duderstadt. And they bring these dogs that you can touch and play and ask questions about, you know, what their role will be when they grow up. Lastly, I want to highlight October 29th. They're doing an updated ADA information panel to discuss assistive animals and emotional support animals. This is a hotbed topic because the way the ADA reads and what a service animal is and what access rights they have versus ESA animals and assistive animals is such a hotbed of discussion right now. And that will take place from 7 to 8 p.m. at the Ann Arbor District Library, main branch on the 4th floor. And if you have any interest in all of this, you can learn more at ability.umich.edu/IAW. Thank you. Do you have any questions?
Larry.
Yeah, what day is that? The 29th is, what day is that?
I don't know. That's a good question, Larry. I don't have my calendar.
Being a person who actually helped redo the Michigan statute on guide dogs.
29th is a Monday.
Oh, good. I'll be there.
7 to 8 p.m.
I'll be there at the library. And second of all, while I got the floor, can I have the floor for a minute? Because I forgot something.
Kathleen, would you like to yield the
floor
to Larry?
Just for a second, I forgot to wrap up my report with, you can send emails to commissionondisabilityissues@gmail.com, or you can contact the mayor's office at 794-6161 for your applications and to start your process to be a commissioner if you'd like. I forgot to put that in there.
Thank you.
Now Kathleen, you can have it back.
You're done. Any other questions for Kathleen? Any announcements? Larry, you usually have an announcement for us.
That was it, I think.
Oh, okay. Any new business? Hearing none, we are adjourned. Thank you again for agreeing to the 5 p.m. start time on October 17th.